My name is Ilias Lobin. I'm a dealer and expert in authentic ancient Greek, Roman, Biblical, Byzantine coins and artifacts. I run a website called trustedcoins.com where you have access to over 6,800 items at the time of the making of this film. Every item I sell comes complete with a beautiful certificate of authenticity. This certificate of authenticity provides you with a lifetime guarantee of authenticity and of course my signature. I'm known all around the world as a numismatic and antique expert. And I've identified over 28,000 items over the years. Every coin that I sell comes in a professional numismatic flip, the coin specifically. You could see the front and the back without taking out the protective covering, with a miniaturized description that matches the unique number in the certificate. So you could take this part with you and show it to your friends and things like that, and it still has a beautiful description. The description is complete many times with reference to a major reference book or collection. And on the back you get the historical context of the item you have purchased. So whether you're brand new to the collecting field or you would like to make a fantastic investment, which I believe this is, you may want to visit my site trustedcoins.com. Today I'm going to be talking about the Macedonian political organization, how their power structure was structured. So to begin, the political organization of the Macedonian kingdom was a three-level pyramid. On the top, the kings and the nation. At the foot, the civic organizations, cities and ethne. And between the two, the districts' Macedonian institutions were near to those of the Greek federal states. The king, Basileus, that's in Greek, headed the central administration. He led the kingdom from its capital, Pella, and his royal palace was conserved the state's archive. He was helped in carrying out his work by the royal secretary, Basilikos Grammateus, whose work was of primary importance, and by the council, which was a small group formed among some of the most eminent Macedonians, chosen by the king to assist him in the government of the kingdom. The title King Basileus may have not officially been used by the Macedonian regions until Alexander the Great. The king was the commander of the army, headed by the Macedonian religion, and director of diplomacy. Also, only he could conclude treaties, and until Philip V, mint coins. The number of civil servants was limited. The king directed his kingdom mostly in an indirect way, supporting himself principally through the local magistrates, the epistates, and whom he constantly kept in touch. Royal succession in the Macedon was hereditary, male, patrilineal, and generally respected the principle of primogeniture. There was also an elective element. When the king died, his designated heir, generally but not always the eldest son, had first to be accepted by the council and then presented to the General Assembly to be acclaimed king and obtain the oath of fidelity. Succession was far from being automatic, more so considering that many Macedonian kings died violently without having made dispositions for succession. Alexander the Great suddenly died of malady. Succession crises were frequent, especially up to the 4th century BC, when the magnate families of Upper Macedonia still cultivated the ambition of overthrowing the Argead dynasty and ascent to the throne. The king was the simple guardian and administrator of the treasure of Macedon, and the king's incomes, basilica, which belonged to the Macedonians. In 324 BC, Alexander detailed the possessions of his father at his death. Except for the king's properties, land in Macedon was free. Macedonians were free men and did not pay land taxes on private grounds. Interesting. Even in condition of economic peril, like what happened to Alexander in 334 BC and Perseus in 168 BC, the monarchy did not tax its subjects, but raised funds through loans. First of all, by his companions, or raised at the cost of leases. The king could grant the Attilai, a privilege of tax exemption, as Alexander did with those Macedonian families which had losses in the Battle of Granicus in May 334 BC. They were exempted from paying tribute for releasing royal grounds and commercial taxes. Extraordinary incomes came from the spoils of war, which were divided between the king and his men. At the time of Philip II and Alexander, this was a considerable source of income. A considerable part of gold and silver objects were taken at the time of the European and Asian campaigns, were melted into ingots and then sent to the monetary foundries of Pella. And Amphipolis, most active of the kingdom at the time, an estimate judges that during the reign of Alexander the Great, only the mint of Amphipolis, just the mint of Amphipolis, struck about 13 million silver tetradrachms. A silver tetradrachm was a large Greek silver coin. This is an enlargement, obviously, of a silver Greek tetradrachm of Alexander the Great, which features the portrait of Alexander the Great wearing the lion skin headdress and being portrayed as Hercules. And on the back of the coin is Zeus seated. Zeus holding the eagle. This is Zeus Aetifor, is pretty much somebody that holds the eagle, and he's seated on a throne and he is holding a scepter. And on this side it says Alexander, the king's name. So it's very interesting that 13 million tetradrachms were minted, and you know, I have some of these coins in my store and you may want to check them out. All the kingdom's citizen soldiers gathered in a popular assembly which is held at least twice a year, in spring and in autumn, with the opening and the closing of the campaigning season. So visit my site trustedcoins.com for authentic ancient coins of Philip II, Alexander the Great, and beyond. Thank you.